you're watching this on the YouTube, leave us a comment, leave us on a thing. If you're watching this from a school community, feeling much better, guys. I know I was doing the thing with Carrie Doc, and she was making me laugh, and I couldn't laugh.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
was I couldn't laugh. I said, stop making me laugh. And she's over there dying, you know what I mean? Because we are talking about the subjects now, how and she was like, what the frick just happened, right? All right, there we go. So we're gonna invite that. So, Doc, while I get us all tech, did you get the invitation sent? Okay. Did you get the invite for everything else and to how important, you know, what today's topic is going to be all about? What if the most powerful voice you hear every day isn't from someone else, but it's actually but from inside your own head? I mean, take it from me. I just came back from the hospital doing all this, and you have a lot of self reflection going on when you're in the hospital thinking you might not wake up. You might not be to hold your kids. You might not be to see your wife again. You might not,
True.
certain things. And I asked her, what did you think about? Because I could have died, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
mean after real talk, right? And she said, I just didn't want to talk about it. Me, I would have to get in with with so much things going on. But as I get us all technically set up, Doc, run us how important this is, what we're going to be going over, and how it's going to situate your life and how it shapes your reality.
Can you do me a favor before I hop into
Sure.
that? Can you send me the invite again to
Okay.
TikTok?
There we go.
Because yeah,
There you go. Invitation sent. Just came in.
where are we at? Sorry guys, we gotta make sure everything's on the
What's up, Daniel Moy? Uh, Lunchtime for you, my brother. Hope everything is over there doing at the Cosmopolitan. I miss you guys truly, but MGM just couldn't do it for me no more.
apparently they can't do it for a lot of people nowadays.
Yes, I just wish you guys had made that's
Just
true. Yes, but I
but
got something. I got something in the works for that might just help everybody else out after
yeah.
that. Did you
Yeah,
get an
well,
invitation link, brother?
no, I did not. I did not.
Let me invite this one. It's sent, but I just wanted to say, the constant internal monologue, the one that only not too much even people notice, isn't just background noise. Because it's to me, I put it when I was sitting in the bed in the hospital for the past other days. Like, if I don't think if I wasn't okay with myself, I wouldn't be able to deal with situations this accordingly. You know what I mean? A lot of the times, uh, you know, you might hit an invisible wall mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But if you don't have that echo chamber and you don't know how to regulate your patterns, your emotions, or at least be good with yourself, how do you expect people to be okay with you? Right?
Yeah.
It's not coming through on TikTok, huh?
Yeah, no. It's I'm not sure what's going on there.
All right.
Let me
Well, they can hear you.
they can hear me on TikTok?
They should be able to because it's coming through. Let me
Okay, well
put
if they
that.
can I mean that's the most important thing. If they can hear me, then it should
Yeah.
be
But
fine.
it's good to see you though. But we're
Yeah.
recording this. It's going live on YouTube, guys. If you want to watch us live on YouTube, we're on Boundaries and Brotherhood. Go to the live section and you'll see us right there on live.
So yeah, so I guess okay, let me jump into it. The technical stuff, it'll be what it's gonna be. Um, so yeah, that the echo chamber, right? If anyone's familiar with the term echo chamber, then you understand that echo chamber is just a place where you hear the same thing over and over again, right? If you're in a room and you're by yourself and you say hello, then all you're going to hear is hello, right? And so what happens is we enter these echo chambers in our own mind through our own self-talk. And so when we say certain things to ourselves, we in our own mind, we become the echo chamber. So whatever we're saying, it's so careful. We got to be so careful what we say because whatever we say, that's what we're going to end up believing. And we also got to be careful about what we look at and what content we consume because a lot of times what ends up happening is because the way our belief system works, we are literally looking for echo chambers. Your brain is
Mm.
constantly looking for things to reinforce its belief, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's constantly looking for things to reinforce your belief. So, that self-talk you're doing where I'm not good enough or I can't do it or it's too scary or it's never going to work out or I'm always going to be lonely or whatever it is, you're literally creating that world, right? That your brain's going to be like, okay, well, it's going to make that come to pass. So that self-talk is so dangerous because you will literally talk yourself to death. Honestly,
Right.
that's
No,
the
I mean literally,
yeah,
you can
literally.
eat it. It can be both ways. You can talk yourself into something positive, going on a different path, or you can look at you can if you don't have the training or the mental capacity to be in that echo chamber, because, like Joe Rogan said, right, he goes into a chamber where he just in with his thoughts.
Yeah.
And me, I love that type of stuff because it's like for me, it's like being in the shoe or being in the hole in prison. If you don't know how to cope with yourself and deal with your past trauma, your past experiences, and know how to do that, you can never move forward. Where most people look for external validation from other people, where when you change or the path and you look for internal validation, how important is that relationship with yourself?
Oh, I mean, that's critical. I mean, that's the only validation that actually sticks. Outside, outside validation is fleeting, and it's not fulfilling. You know, the best way I can put it, it's like if you're starving, outside validation is like getting a piece of candy. Intrinsic internal validation is like eating a steak, from a fancy steakhouse with potatoes and a dessert and a salad and all stuff like that. Like it's not even a comparison. Right. But unfortunately, we've been taught to seek outside validation. We've been taught to seek the outside candy in order to validate ourselves. And unfortunately, we pick up those beliefs, right? And we tell ourselves that, oh, this is the way the world is, and I have to be this way, and this is just how it is, and all men are horrible, or all women are whatever belief that you're holding on to. I can't trust anybody. This world, all you're going to do is try to find ways to validate that. Matter of fact, the self-talk is so crazy. The echo chamber is so crazy. You can take a positive situation and you can make it negative.
Oh,
Someone could do
absolutely.
something nice for you,
Yeah.
just out of the kindness of their heart. Oh, they're just trying to suck up to me. It's not that big of a deal. Probably they already have a lot, so it doesn't cost them anything. Like you will find a way to devalue that simply because of that self-talk you have. So
Right, right, right.
yeah. So no, go ahead,
Oh,
go
in
ahead.
fact, yeah, I just wanted to jump in. If for some of you guys that's been first time here, my name is Gordon Watt from Boundaries and Brotherhood, and yeah, my co-host, right, Dr. Keith Fairclaw, who,
Yeah.
if you need professional help, scan that code behind him because this is what's all about. This is for people that need some direction. You might have a situation that you be going through, and this is what the 11th man is all about. I mean, becoming something that you don't seek outside validation. You know how to work in your echo chamber. And if you want to see us on any of the social media platforms, we are here to help you guys move forward, not sin. Become confident in yourself. Have self validation for yourself. Doc, give a brief information about you in case they want to seek you out.
All right, guys, if you're looking for a therapist, I am a mental health therapist. I'm licensed in Nevada and Florida. I am physically based in Nevada. But if you're looking for a therapist who's expertise in with men and relationships, I'm your guy. If you're looking for someone who's authentic, someone who cares, someone who wants you to succeed, someone who can give you strategies and skills and techniques so that you can make it, evidence-based strategies that so you can make it, so you can be successful, regardless of what situation you're in, I'm your guy. Right. Now, again, you're gonna have to do the work, right? I'll give
Right.
you everything I possibly can, but you got to do the work. But I promise you this: if you're willing to do the work and you show up, then you will, whatever your situation is, whether it's self-esteem, whether it's your relationship, whether it's maybe you're in a negative echo chamber, maybe you're caught up in a lot of just like garbage out there in the world, whatever you're in, if you're willing to do the work, we can get you out of that. I can 100% make sure we get you out of that. So again, if you need
100%.
to, you know, scan the
And
code.
echo.
Yeah.
100% we can get you out of the situation. Between me and Doc, both together, and Carrie, and who I have coming on else, we've hit so many different topics on a lot of things to get you where you need to be. You might be in a situation where you are not feeling yourself. You might be in a situation where you keep feeling stuck and you keep hitting that invisible wall.
Yeah.
Me and Doc, Boundaries and Brotherhood, this coaching services we carry. Doc is a professional therapist. He's not one of those gurus you see on stuff. He's real.
Yeah.
This is why
Yeah.
there's a big difference. And I've
Yes.
worked with him for so long that this is why we collaborated. But
Well,
how important is your self-talk to shape moving forward for anybody watching this?
Oh, your self-talk is everything. Your self-talk is everything. And the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So literally, as your thoughts, as your based off your thoughts, that's going to create who you are. Right. Whether you're a believer or not, doesn't matter. I mean, the truth is the truth, and the fact is the fact. Right. Because neuroscience says the same thing. You know, a lot of people out there, a lot of people say the same thing. Like, and you see it. You see it. You talk to anyone who's been successful, anyone who's got out of it, they had to change how they thought, right? If that's why I was actually watching a video this morning, Gordon. Um, and it was about, and maybe I think it might be relevant, but in any case, it is relevant. It was about the lottery winners and how there's these lottery winners who win this money and then they destroy their life, right?
Oh, all the time.
Um, and the problem is people think, oh, the lottery is so bad, it's the money, it's so bad. Money is the root of all evil and all this stuff like that. I'm like, no, you missed the point. It has nothing to do with the money. Nothing to do with the money. Their mindset was trash before they got the money. So with a trash
Correct.
mindset, all money is going to do is amplify that garbage mindset. It's going to amplify the negative self-talk. It's going to amplify the lack of self-esteem, the lack of confidence every single time. And that's what's going to happen. And so you cannot escape yourself. People say, "Oh, well, my relationship was bad," or maybe if I move, it'll be different. Maybe if I do, go somewhere or change my job. But for some reason, you keep having the same issues wherever you go. It's because that negative self-talk. The
Yeah,
negative
absolutely.
self-talk, and so it's detrimental. It's detrimental. Sometimes you pick up that negative self-talk from your parents when we're younger, but at some point in time, we need to kind of be like, hey, listen, I'm there. I can control my life. I can control what I say to myself. I don't have to say that I'm ugly or I'm horrible or I'm going to be broke forever or I'm never going to make it. I don't have to tell myself that anymore. I can tell myself something different. So, long answer to a short question, how important is it? It's everything. It's literally everything. If your self-talk is horrible, you're not going to make it. You're not
Yeah,
going to
that's
make it.
period. Yeah.
Yeah, period. You're not going to make it.
Yeah, because the way I see it, the inner voice is always listening to you, but it's also guiding you. If your inner voice is guiding you in a wrong direction and you making excuses for yourself or you justification, like Doc said with the lottery winners with the money will enhance whoever the hell you are. It's same
Hmm.
like drugs, right?
Hmm.
If you can use it in sales and business and marketing and creating whatever things that you got going on, if you don't have what it takes inside, you will destroy every relationship, every partnership, every business thing, because it will lead you down a path not just of destruction, but becoming, say, egotistical. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what happens because it seemed like anything else in your life. If you're looking for external validation from, say, your wife or yourself, and something happens and you can't deal with yourself, like I just did with doing on a surgery table, right? Where you just don't know and be okay with it. A lot of people just don't know, right? If
Hmm.
you just don't know, you don't have the conviction to do it. How will you have a path? And if you're listening to other people, you're just going to be a follower,
Yeah.
right? Doc, let me ask you this. When you work with clients or something that relates to yourself on a story, give us a story maybe that might help the relevancy of it on how important, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And how to go about doing it if you was in a workshop, because we do have workshops coming up. We had a hiccup because I went in the hospital, but during the hospital I created everything. Oh, don't make me laugh. Stop. Ow.
Well, I think there's countless stories, right? As far as, how mindset can just keep you in an echo chamber, right? I've talked to women who would say that you know, uh, long story short, like there's no good men out there,
Oh,
you
geez.
know, and the dating pool's horrible, and there's just no good men out there, right? Is it really there's no good men, or is that negative self-talk, right? Like, is there some lack of self-worth issues, like there's no boundaries or something like that going on? Because what ends up happening is you end up creating the reality that you're saying, right? So if you think there's no good men, all you're going to be looking for is no good men, right? To justify your thoughts. I've seen men say, oh, well, there's no good women. They just want to use you, all these things like that. Is that the case, or is that just the reality you're creating?
Right.
Right. you know,
Right.
and because you're creating that reality, because the thing is you can never go beyond your belief. So if you're just speaking those words, you're in that echo chamber, then your brain's going to be like, in order for us to just to solidify this belief and reinforce it, what we end up doing is we end up going and looking for people who are a bad match, right? I've had people
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I can't do it," or "It's too hard," you know, "It's too difficult." Is it really too hard and too difficult? Because what ends up happening is when you keep saying, "Oh, it's too hard, it's too difficult, it's going to take too long," what does your brain do? It literally starts shutting parts of itself down. You're not motivated. You start lowering your energy and everything like that. Why? Because we have to create the scenario of it being too hard, too
Mm-hmm.
difficult. Oh
Too
my God, it's
difficult.
going
Yeah.
to take so long. So that's what you, to reinforce that, what your brain does is it shuts things down. It's like, okay, let's make this take so long. Right. So you think about like even with kids. Oh my gosh, it's gonna take forever to clean my room. It's so horrible. It's so bad. And they'll literally sit in their room all day long. Something that could have taken 15 minutes, they literally talk themselves into wasting the entire day. And we do
Into
that
auto.
all the time, right? You know, I can't start this business. Oh, it's just not the right market. We got people starting businesses in recessions and depressions, right? Like
Oh, opportunity.
the depending on how you think. You know,
Right.
there's a saying, right? There's a saying from Sun Tzu. I think I'm saying his name right. Art of War that I
Ooh,
kind
love
of
that book.
added to, right? And
Dark, but it's good.
he said the he said in the midst of chaos there's opportunity, right?
All the
You
time.
know, only for those with this is the part I added. Only for those with basically the sight to see it, to seize it, right? To see and seize it. And so chaos brings opportunity. In the beginning of the pandemic, I said there's gonna be a lot of rich people come out of this. In the very beginning, I think it was like in April, I made a video. I took it down because I had some other stuff in there that didn't really pan out. But well, I was saying like the
Abilidad.
pandemic's gonna be over in no time, right? But obviously it went a little bit longer. But I did say there's gonna be a lot of rich people that are born out of this, and sure enough, there are many, many, many people who became millionaires out of the pandemic. But there's also other people who lost it all, right? In
Yeah,
the
I mean,
pandemic,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, but it comes down to the mindset and that self-talk. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. I can't believe this happened. I'm losing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You start talking yourself into this bad place that then you wonder and then you blame everybody else. Because here's the crazy part, Gordon. Here's the crazy part and the sad part. So not only do we talk ourselves into this bad place, but then we also start blaming everybody else and everything else for us being in the bad place. So now it's almost
True.
like we put ourselves in jail, locked the key, and then threw the key away. So
Yeah,
now we're stuck. And now we gotta wait for someone else to save us. Although the
and
key
that's what most people want. Yeah,
and that's what most people want. So it's that self-talk is just so as far as stories are concerned, I mean, there's a number of stories I said in there, but when it comes to that, man, that's exactly what happens, man. We tell ourselves these stories and we create these realities. And if you want a different reality, you got to tell yourself a different story.
exactly. Because a lot of the times, even like I went with me and Carrie showed on Tuesday, right? I asked her now that she put in so much work into herself and all this stuff because I knew her for 10 plus. She's been following her career and stuff, right? I go, did you think you were ready to hit the relationship lottery being the new you? She was like, that was a deep question because if she didn't put the self-talk that she is now, she wouldn't have the relationship she is now because she came from the feminist movement,
Hmm.
trauma, all this stuff, and she hung on to it. What you just said,
Hmm.
everything that she hung on, my dad, my life, my disruptive family, all this stuff, and she used that to be this angry woman,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
she was not feminine at all.
Hmm.
Now, when I asked her all these questions, she gives angles for how her relationship works, how a guy is looking for her, just from a different viewpoint.
Hmm.
She kind of absorbs and lets go of these things, which is perfect because come if you're hitting the brick wall and say your self-talk, your management, we do have an assessment, guys. You know, you can go to let's go dot boundariesandbrotherhood.com and take the assessment and see where we lay out. Everything is going to start matching along because you have Doc, you have me, you have Carrie, you have other guests I'm bringing on very soon to help you move in not just business, the use of a lot of different tools that you have out there because the self-talk that you have, the confidence matches up, right? If your confidence and your self-talk are going two different ways, what happens, Doc?
Oh, if you're confident, honestly, yeah, your confidence and self-talk go two different ways. Well, I would say, I don't know if they would go two different ways, Gordon, to be honest. I believe they actually would go in the same direction. Because if your
If
self-talk is horrible, right? If your self-talk is horrible, you're not going to have good confidence. If you're telling yourself, I remember one time when I was playing football and I was supposed to run and go catch the ball, I was telling myself I wasn't going to catch the ball. So I was literally killing my
you're
confidence
killing yourself,
so I couldn't catch the ball. Well,
right?
but it doesn't make sense. It makes sense though, right? If
Mhm.
confidence is the belief that I'm going to accomplish the thing I'm setting out to do, and I'm telling myself I'm not going to accomplish that, then the very definition of it, I'm killing my confidence so that I can make that belief true, me not catching the ball. So a lot of times when that negative self-talk kicks in, you're destroying your confidence, right? Like you're killing it. But on the other note, though, if I was like, I'm gonna catch this, I'm the greatest wide receiver in the world, whatever, I'm believing, then my confidence is going to be like, okay, well, we need to create a belief system where we're the greatest wide receiver in the world. And what do the greatest wide receivers in the world do? They catch. So
Right,
therefore, they don't drop balls, they catch. So therefore, I would have caught the ball. Obviously you got to practice too, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
they run together. So that's why that self-talk is so damaging. And a lot of people, it's so dangerous. And I say this time and time again, and I know, I won't get into the relationship stuff here and I leave that to Carrie, but there's so many people. Oh my gosh, she's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. They're
Oh,
narcissists.
shit.
Oh my God,
Ow.
everybody's a narcissist. Dad got like it's like the whole world's a narcissist at this point in time. No, like
It's
don't
just
even
blame.
matter. Oh man, he didn't call me back. He's a narcissist. It's like, come on, what are we doing? But what ends up happening? You end up going in an echo chamber. And I'll be honest, I almost went down that same route as well. Because you start
Oh,
saying it, what do you start doing, Gordon? You start now looking for information to validate that belief. Now you're
correct.
watching videos, and now you're going to start
Right.
characterizing all behaviors because you believe they're a narcissist as narcissism. So you're literally creating that version of that person in your own mind because you're going to this because the self-talk you're doing and because you're going to those echo chambers.
So how do you curb that? Like, as from a doc standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, from a therapist standpoint, what are some of the things you would checklist off as if this is happening? Like, say this is happening to you, how do you reframe, rephrase, or challenge that?
First thing you got to do is you got to admit that I'm the one that created this scenario in this life. I created this
Oh, that's
misery.
deep, deep.
That's the
Okay.
first thing you have to do. I created my misery. I created this prison I'm in. I'm the one that created the lock. I created the key. I'm the one that locked. I created this scenario. I put myself in this situation. Nobody else. Nobody
Accountability.
else. You gotta have it. You gotta take personal responsibility. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah,
You cannot
that's the number
solve
one.
any problem in your life until you first take personal responsibility. You can't solve your financial issues. You can't solve your health issues. You can't solve your relationship issues. You can't solve your personal issues until you first say, I did it. It's me. That is me. I created this, right? So once you do that, then you got to ask the question, well, how did I create this? Where did this come from? And this is kind of, Gordon, this is kind of where me and you come in because sometimes people are like, I don't know, right? I don't know how
Right,
I got here.
right,
So this
right,
is where
right.
you could, if you can't do it on
Nice.
your own, you reach out to us. You reach out to us, and so that we can help you identify. Okay, we start asking you questions, right? Questions about your childhood, questions about how you came up, questions about your thought patterns. We start asking you those questions. So then, once you recognize, oh shoot, this is how I got here. This is how I created that pattern. And sometimes, Gordon, it's not even us that create the pattern. Sometimes we pick the pattern up from our parents. Sometimes we pick it up from
Absolutely.
society. Sometimes we pick it up from culture. Well, I'm black, so I have to act a certain way, talk a certain way, be a certain way, or I'm in this community, or whatever it is. I was just in a conversation. I was in a session the other yesterday where they were talking about not asking for the things, right? That's not a belief that they created themselves. That's a belief that they got from somebody else,
Wait,
right?
repeat that. Not
Well, not
asking for.
well, not asking for things like not asking for help, not asking for support,
Oh
not
yeah,
asking
it's
for
a
that,
manly.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
you
It's a
know.
it's a you,
So
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but Did they create that themselves or got them somewhere else? More often than not, they got that from somewhere else. Someone taught
Yeah.
them that. So that's the next step, right? So once you get the help, once you identify where it came from, then you challenge it. Is that true? You start challenging your own thoughts, your own beliefs. Is that true? Is this self-talk true? You know, and then you start saying, well, then you start finding evidence against it, how it's not true. Because a lot of times all we do is find confirmatory evidence, like I said, to reinforce the belief. But now we're breaking the belief down. And here's the thing: when it comes to negative self-talk and being in that echo chamber, it doesn't take much. It does not take much to poke holes in a negative belief. I promise you that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You could break it down in no time at all because when when we have these negative beliefs, we think they're all encompassing and all consuming. Why? Because we leave out a tremendous amount of information. Oh my gosh, they're the absolute worst person in the world. They're horrible. Oh my gosh. You start asking questions. Okay, man, are they really that bad? Yeah, they do this, they do that, they do this, they do that. They do nothing good ever. Like they never, ever, ever do anything good. Well, no, yeah, they do good stuff. Okay, we'll talk. Let's. What's some good stuff? Well, they do this, they do that, they do this. They start naming all stuff that starts contradicting the bad stuff they were saying before.
Right.
So to challenge, so you start challenging these negative beliefs, and you start finding objective truth information to start breaking it down. And then when you get that happen, you start to poke holes in all in the belief. Now that belief's not gonna be able to stand under scrutiny anymore, right? It's gonna be very difficult to reinforce a belief that we know is no longer true. And then the next step is, well, what do you want to believe? And that's when you
That's
start
a different
thinking
thing.
positive. That's a different thing, right? Then you gotta start thinking positive. You gotta finding the good, start having gratitude, start having appreciation, and start acting that out and living that way, right? Being grateful for what you have, being grateful for opportunities, looking for things like how did I learn from this situation, making small improvements every day. When you start doing that, you start creating a new belief. Before it's all said and done, you're a whole new person, and whoever you were before does no longer exist.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I can break down, rephrase, flip it on its head using 5 techniques. And these are some of the tips we're going to be using in our workshop because that's where, rephrasing, taking accountability, challenging those thoughts, getting a behavior outcome you want to do, and providing something with what you know and learned from it's in you. Because a lot of us might have different values, different things, different attributes, different core values. What if we could show you with your own core values, you could reframe, rephrase, take accountability, and change the way you look at life? And take yourself out of that echo chamber so that you can have a path that moves you forward instead of you looking for outside validation. How much would that worth to you? Where you could close that deal, get that job, kill that interview, get the girl, have the family. If you're a professional and you're looking for certain things where you could run your Fortune 500 company, but you can't even talk to your kids, who won in life? Right? If you're a professional, you might be a manager, but you can't hold a relationship to save your life and be happy. This is the people we want to help, right?
I'll even add to that. I'll even add to that. You're a manager. You can't even talk to your employees. Your employees
Yeah,
hate you.
that exact.
And
This is why. This is why we created boundaries and brotherhood to help anybody in this type of situation because you didn't even know it, right?
that's the thing, Gordon. Like, if you got, gentlemen, listen, when you learn these skills, right, it doesn't just stay home, right? It's not just I'm better and now that's just it. It
Yeah.
goes into every aspect of your
Aspect.
life. It goes into your relationship with your wife, with your kids, at work, in the community, in church, wherever you are, these things go with you and improve those situations. It's an outward ripple effect. Everything gets better. So ask yourself that question: what would I be willing to pay? What would I be willing to do to make every single part of my life better? Every single part. Every single part. What would you be willing to pay? What would you be willing to do? You know?
I mean, it goes to show. I mean, a lot of people, yeah, I would die for my kids. I would do anything for my girlfriend, but you won't get self help to have a better relationship and communication with your other half,
Won't read a
or
book.
you won't even put in the work on yourself, or you won't go to the gym, but you're gonna tell me I'll do anything for my family. And
Boy.
take it from me, I just came out of the damn hospital, right? And I still had to, my shows had to go on. I still had to edit. In fact, Doc, when I opened my computer on Saturday morning,
Mm.
I still had Carrie's video up that I didn't edit, right?
Mm.
And one thing I didn't realize, for as fast as I move and stuff, I didn't realize to just get back into my self groove, my workflow I did like I do
Yeah.
normally. Just yesterday, I could wake up early and just slam it all out. For the past like 3 days, I'm like, damn, I didn't know I do all this stuff every single day. I mean, just the flow, the tenacity, the thing, the creative, the
Yeah.
thing that you keep moving around. I tried to do it. I said I had a brain like I had to go sit down because my brain I wasn't used to it,
Yeah.
right? So like when people say, I'm not my employees or I can't get leads, I can't get sales, I can't close a deal, you have to look inward. You know what I mean? Into a lot of stuff with the echo chamber because the things you're telling yourself will exude what comes out,
Absolutely.
right? In
Absolutely.
business and everything. Doc, let me ask you this. Do you think, how do you prepare to confront that self-talk?
If you're, how do I prepare to confront it, or how do like
Yes. Or
if it was me challenging my own self-talk, or if someone just
both.
individual?
Yeah, like
Okay.
say I come to you as a client. Okay, the guys, this is going to be a real life situation how we work things out, right? Doc
Yeah.
has his own stories, but he's also a professional therapist, right?
Yeah.
If I come to him, it's like I have this self-talk, I'm not moving forward. What do you start? How does it work? Because this is what we're going to be doing in the workshops.
Well, usually what happens is people will start talking. They won't say I have this negative self-talk. They won't say that. What they'll
Of
do is they'll
course.
just start doing it, right? Oh my gosh, I'll use relationships as an example. Oh man, my wife is the worst, man. She doesn't care about me. She doesn't love me. She doesn't do anything for me. Yada, yada, yada. And so, of course I empathize, right? The goal, you don't want to just bash someone over the head like, nah, you're talking negative. That's not true. No, you're okay. Hey, I understand that must be difficult, man. But then you just start asking questions. All right, so man, you say
Okay.
your wife doesn't do anything for you, man. Like, bro, like she doesn't love you, she doesn't care about you. So, like, does she do anything for you? I asked that question. Does she do anything for you? Like anything at all? And the answer, of course, is going to be yes. It's never no. It's always
Right.
yes, right? Um, and I say like anything at all, like well, yeah, she does this, she does that. What makes you think she did? Why does she do that? Does she have to do that? Well, no, no, she does. I get them to start answering the questions. I get them to start poking holes in their own
Mm,
negative belief. Why? Because then after a while, it can't stand up. My wife doesn't look, it doesn't stand up anymore. Or if you were to come to me and say, oh, yeah, I can't get a job, I can't do this, I can't do that. It's so hard and everything like that. Like, oh man, it must be tough. Hey, what are you doing as far as getting a job is concerned? Right? Oh, well, I applied to one job, then, I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
okay.
You applied to one job,
One job.
you know, and you start going there, like, okay, are you really pounding the pavement like you need to, right? Or yeah, no, I've sent out all these applications, on Indeed and LinkedIn, and that. Well, I mean, have you pounded the pavement? Are you calling them back? Are you checking up on them? Like, you start asking these questions. Are you willing to move? There was real quick, and then I'll talk about how I handle it for myself. There's a video. If you guys are familiar, I think I talked about this in the last one of 1 verse 25 or Surrounded, the Jubilee podcast or whatever it's called, right? Videos. And Patrick Bet David was talking to
I
this
was gonna
guy.
say, yeah,
Yeah, and we talked about that before.
yeah.
And that guy's negative self-talk, he talked himself right out of a job.
Hmm.
Talked himself right out of a job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was given the job.
yeah. He
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I'll give you a job. I'll give it 90 days. You want to move to Florida? I'll put you on." Right. So problem solved. Right. And then there was another girl on there. She was like, "Oh, you don't understand. My mental health is so bad, and this, yeah, I can't get no help." He's like, I will take care of all your mental health stuff. All you gotta do is go to this guy I know." Nope, nope. So when it comes to that stuff, right? Long story short, when it comes to that stuff, that it's that negative self talk. They have to be willing to change it, right? But sometimes people just get stuck in that same loop, right? And so if I ever encounter someone, so long story short, there's always a solution to whatever your problem is. Like that's my tagline on my emails. Every problem has a solution if you set your mind and intent to find it.
Ooh, I'm
Every
like that one.
problem.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna use.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna use right there. every,
you
every
know,
every problem has a solution.
every problem has a solution if you set your mind and intent to find it. If you said if you
If
set your mind and
I
intent
was
to
gonna say
find it,
if.
and that
Yeah.
man and that woman did not set their mind and intent to find it, they're just like the story. So, long story short, that's what I would do for someone. I would ask them questions, and I would have them poke holes in their own story, right? And then we start creating a new story out of that. What are some things that you should be looking at? What are some things you should be noticing? What are some things you want to believe? What do you want your relationship to be like? What are some things you could do on your side to start changing how you think and how you feel? How can you start showing up different in your relationship or in your own life? How can you start, beating the pavement and really seeking out to the I would start asking questions like that, start now rebuilding them. Now, as far as I'm concerned, what I do for me, now, granted, all this stuff is internalized already, right? So I
Right.
already think
Right. Right.
positive, things like that. However, of course, negative thoughts still come, right? So what do I do, right? Do I entertain them? It might be like a day like, oh man, business was slow this week. Oh man, why is it so hard? All these bills, yada yada, whatever, whatever. And I'll just chalk up to be like, you know what, it's gonna be all right. God's got it taken care of. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm supposed to do the right thing, keep showing up, adding value, and things are gonna work out, right? Or, I'll start getting on myself, right, and I'll start saying, bro, why are you sitting here complaining? Right? I can be a little bit more harder on myself than than others can be on me. So I'll be like, bro, what are you sitting here complaining for? Get up and go do something. Go record a video. Go make a lesson. Go beat the pavement. Go reach out to clients. Go do something. Don't stop sitting here crying about it when you have the potential and everything to get up and do it. And so what that does, it gets me going. It's like, okay, I'm not going to get stuck in that echo chamber. It's like I walked into the echo chamber and then my brain's like, we don't think like that anymore. And then I step out of the echo chamber and I start actually getting to work because I understand that what I'm telling myself now is actually true and not all the thoughts I was telling myself before. And feeling sorry for myself is not going to get anything done.
Well, I look at it this way, right? If it like, even like for my friend right here, Chops, what's up? Right? You gotta have like, what if the opportunity gets taken away from you? Right? Say you're in the hospital. Say for somebody, you go down the road, you get hit by a car. Look at all that wasted time. Look at all the things you could have got done instead of that woes me validation, all this stuff. What if you had that second or third chance, but you never even got to do it? Right. So if you look at it from a different perspective of that way, right? Because like even like for me, when you come out of prison, you're doing some time, you have a lot of time to think. You have a lot of time to be with your own thoughts. You have a couple choices. You can do the same thing. You can kill life with what you opportunity you have because you wasted all that time. Now, if you're thinking 19, 15, 20, 25 years between drugs, addict, incarceration, and paperwork, right? What happens when you give a chance to somebody that has changed, got himself out of the echo chamber, learned how to do? Then you put yourself that echo chamber that he created for himself actually becomes his stepping stone to everything else because you have that opportunity again,
Mm.
right? To enjoy life, to enjoy your family, to enjoy the things that's important. You mean I got a friend like he just did a video like, oh yeah, he made $20 million, but he still don't have control of his time.
Yeah.
Right, right. Or you can have a friend like their business might be going a little bit slow, but what are you going to do? What is he going to do with his employees right now? And I'm like, okay, we're looking at certain situations, but what if you wasn't granted that opportunity? What if you're in a hospital bed? The thoughts that comes in your head is always like, what about that legacy you was trying to build all this time because you gave you the woes excuses or the woes me or it wasn't the perfect time. Screw that. This is what we coming out, guys. When I'm gonna take it straight up. When I was in that hospital bed last week in pain, I'm thinking, what happens with all the information in my head that so much people deserve to have? This is why we're coming out with the services, the coaching, the use of certain tools, how me and Doc is going to help you move the needle to your life. Because what better time is this? The world is array. We don't know what's going to happen. Why not fix yourself when that opportunity arises? You run. You run like no tomorrow because that's what's going to be. And like anybody else says, that self-talk you have with yourself is going to be the most important tool. What if we could change that and enhance it with the opportunity?
Mm.
That would be kind of deep, right?
Absolutely. I mean, again, you could change your whole life, right? I mean, they say, life is all about perspective, right? Like you create your
Absolutely.
reality. And the fact of the matter is you do. you know,
You really do. Yep.
and just even touching on some of the things you were saying, Gordon, regarding like you being in a hospital bed, and instead of sitting there saying what was me, it was like, okay, well, I'm thinking about money models, and I'm thinking about how to expand, and okay, what kind of
Stop making me
videos can
laugh.
we do? But you see that's a different mindset, right? That's a different mindset. Inky Johnson, if anyone's familiar with him, he's a motivational speaker. He has one arm, lost the use of his right arm. He was supposed to go
From
to the
football.
NFL. Yeah,
I
right.
I seen him get hurt.
Yeah, like he was supposed to go to the
I remember
NFL,
that.
right? He
I
was
remember that.
rated the top, supposed to go in the top, the first
Was
10
it,
and the
was
first
it Tennessee?
he was Tennessee going against Air Force or Navy, I think it
I
was.
seen him get hurt while I was
Yeah,
in prison on
yeah,
the game because I was betting on it.
yeah, yeah.
Because I was the
It-
bookie.
yeah. So, and the thing with him is that he could have been like, "What was me? I lost my chance. I was supposed to be an instant millionaire. I was supposed to get drafted,
Oh, he was.
and he could have took that approach, but instead, you know, he started doing motivational speaking. And of course, I'm speeding through a story a lot, right? Because he
Yeah,
still
no, yeah.
tried to get back into football and getting the use of his arm, but once it didn't happen, he didn't just quit. Now, mind you, he's spent his entire life, because this will break most people. He spent his
Absolutely.
entire life trying to get to the NFL so he could provide for his family,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
And to have it all taken away from you
That,
like
that,
that,
yeah.
you need to have a strong mindset. You can't be in a negative echo chamber and make it out of a situation like that. There are so many other stories like that. People have lost their children who've turned it around. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. That's where that was born out of. She could have sat there in misery, because someone killed her child. I don't know her name. She should have sat there in misery because someone killed her child, you know. But she took that and turned it into something, to bless other people, to save lives. And so,
Yeah.
long story short, on what I'm saying is, being able to shift your perspective. That's what coming out of the echo chamber is all about, and not getting stuck in there. Right? Because it's not saying that we're not going to have bad things that happen. Do not mistake us. We're not saying that. We're not even saying you're going to be free from negative thoughts for the rest of your life, right? We're not saying that either. Bad things happen to everybody. Jesus said the rain falls on the just and unjust alike. Bad things are going to happen to everybody. It's not
Right.
about what happens to you. It's what do you do with what happened to you? How do you get back up? How do you perceive it? And you can't do that if you're in a negative echo chamber. If it's always woe is me, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me, then what are you going to do? Right? All it's going to happen is you're going to keep repeating the same cycles, getting to the same issues, going deeper and deeper and deeper until you can't get out. So you got to be able to shift your perspective. And that's what we're here to help you do. Learn how to shift your perspective so you can have a different life, so you can have a better life, so you can improve all your relationships and all your interactions across the board.
Right, right, right. Because a lot of you might be thinking, what if I give up? What if then this happened? You won't believe what you're really capable until you actually reframe everything and actually apply some of these techniques we're going to be giving you,
Mm.
right? If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching this replay, put in a comment free assess, right? Doc or myself will reach out to you, see where you're at. Because with what's going on in you, even if you're stuck and your emotional truth will shatter you sometimes, that same emotion will actually propel you to a different level that you didn't even know. It's almost like having opening up a new game level. Once
Mhm.
you figure this out and you bloop bloop and you get to that another level and bloop bloop another level,
Mhm.
your problems won't go away, but you know how to handle them much better,
Yeah.
no matter what situation is. Because when you look at it from a loss everything aspect, because you will lose in life up, down, regardless of what happens. This is where you find your real self. This is where you find out what you're made of, right? Now, between me and Doc, we are there to guide, to mentor, to shift, to pivot, to figure out a way how we can get you to that next level in your life.
Mm.
Like you might be watching this and it might hit you later on in life on a replay, right? Because you might be in a different phase. You might not want to help, basically.
Mm.
But we're going to always be here Because what Doc said, for every problem, there's a solution if you're looking for it. Right? Something like that.
Yeah, every problem has a solution if you set your mind and intent to
If you
find it.
set your mind to it. And that's going to
Yeah.
be our thing. If you have a problem, guys, and you need help finding a solution for it, we got answers.
Mhm.
We got techniques, real world techniques between my, well, put it this way. I asked all the LLMs, I put our channel in there and it said, is anybody else doing this? Not between a therapist and an ex-felon.
Mm.
Real world examples, real world results, real life change, both backed by logic, wisdom, and answers. That was kind of good, huh, Doc?
Yeah.
Doc, close out the show. I mean, give us our tagline again because I liked it. In fact, we're gonna use that word, and we're gonna use this to do a lot more.
Yeah, every problem has a solution if you set your mind and intent to find it, right? But if you're in a negative echo chamber, then there is no solution that you're going to find with negativity. I want you guys to think about it like this. Whatever has gotten better in your life by thinking negatively about it. Where you're like, oh,
Mm,
my relationship is so horrible. My kids are so bad. The business is so bad. The market's so bad. Everything's just so bad. What has ever gotten better in your life by thinking negative? And I can tell you right now, nothing. Absolutely
absolutely.
nothing. And if everyone's
Right.
like, "Well, no, if I talk negatively about myself, it pushes me harder," you know, you know, no, no, that's not how that works. Tearing yourself down makes you better. No, you can encourage yourself without tearing yourself down. No, tearing yourself down just tears yourself down. Right. So, long story short, guys, we got to change that negative thinking. We got to change that. It's critical for us to change. If you want to have any hope in repairing your relationships, you want to have any hope in repairing your own self-esteem, you want to have any hope in getting better, in business, you got to change your self-talk. You got to come out of that negative echo chamber. You got to. It's critical. It's critical. Because if you don't, well, people don't stay the same, right? Here's the thing in life. People think people stay the same. People don't stay the same. People are either getting worse or getting better, but no one stays the same. Change is the only constant in this world. So you're either getting better or you're getting worse. So you have to ask yourself the question, do I want to keep getting worse or do I want to get better? Because getting worse means you end up divorced. You end up estranged from your kids. You end up alienating great employees, and your business now suffers. You end up alienating friends. That's what worse looks like. Is that what you want? Is that what you're looking for? Are you looking to be alone and destitute and broken? At the end of your life, or do you want to have full relationships? All the sex you can ever want in your marriage. Great relationship with your kids, all the money you could ever want, employees that love to come to work because of you, right? Ask yourself that question: which version do I want? If you want the latter, we're here to help you. If you want the former, well, I don't have to tell you. We can't help you with that. But then again, you probably got that well in hand already. So
He's making me
yeah,
laugh again.
just
Guys,
saying.
guys, if you're feeling this, he's making me laugh again. If you're feeling this, share this with someone who needs a breakthrough today. And if you're looking for some sort of reason to either move forward, comment below. Reach out on all social media platforms on Boundary and Brotherhood. Go to the school community. Go to Let's Go Boundaries and Brotherhood. Take the assessment. We'll reach out to you because we want you to elevate your life and not be stuck in that echo chamber. Guys, my name is Gordon Watt from Boundaries and Brotherhood,
Guys, Dr. Keith Fairclough.
and we'll see you next week, same time.
Y'all
Aloha.
take care.
Bye bye. Oh, where's my life? Oh, over here making me laugh like I'm sick. Damn it. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Not bad, not bad, not bad. But yeah.